In Nova Scotia, anyone wishing to construct an on-site sewage system on their property is required to have a qualified person assist them in selecting or designing a system and obtaining a Nova Scotia Environment's approval to construct an on-site sewage system. A qualified person, too, can select a system for a home with up to 4 bedrooms, while other types of dwellings will require the system to be designed by a qualified person 1, who is an engineer. All systems must be installed by a licensed on-site sewage installer. Typically, the landowner will contact the qualified person. The QP will want to know the location and size of the lot, the number of bedrooms in the existing home or the home they plan to construct, and whether or not they currently own the property. The property owner will want to know the cost of the service, the cost of the permit, and how long the process will take, and for how long the permit will be valid. After this discussion, the QP will arrange to meet the homeowner at the site to dig a test pit for a soil assessment and conduct a lot assessment. This video will cover the steps involved as a QP2 selects a raised C2 on-site sewage system for a 3-bedroom house, and the system is installed by a licensed installer. The QP2 meets the homeowners on their lot. The homeowners tell the QP2 about the type of house they wish to build, if they wish to have a service basement, and where they would like to put the house on the lot if possible. They locate the property lines and identify any features of the surrounding area that may require a setback from the system, such as drilled or dug wells, water courses, wetlands, intermittent drains, cisterns, water distribution lines, and foundation drains. The QP2 lays out a proposed plan for the lot, locating the house, well, driveway, and septic system. A test pit is dug within 6 meters of where the disposal bed will be located. The QP determines the levels of the different soil types and the depth the roots have penetrated into the soil and records this information. When this is done, the test pit is dug to the depth of 1.8 to 2 meters to confirm that bedrock or water table are not present. The test pit is then filled in. The slope of the land in the area of the bed is determined, and the location of the test pit is tied into 2 fixed points, in this case, the road and the property line. The QP2 will use the design flow, the slope of the land, and the depth of the permeable soil in the area of the bed to determine the most appropriate disposal system from the technical guidelines. The QP2 has the homeowner fill out and sign an on-site sewage application. This will allow the QP2 to make application to Nova Scotia Environment on the homeowner's behalf. In Nova Scotia, the system can be constructed using one of 2 different types of distribution trenches: gravel and pipe or chambers. The forms used in the application will reflect which type has been chosen. In this video, the installation of both methods will be shown. The QP2 completes the on-site sewage application and submits it, along with the supporting documents and the application fee, to the local office of Nova Scotia Environment. When the application has been processed and the approval has been issued, the approval will be sent to the QP2. The QP2 will provide a copy of the approval and the submission standard forms to the homeowner. The homeowner will then contact a licensed on-site sewage installer to install the system. The homeowner meets the installer on site and provides him with a copy of the approval and the submission forms, showing the type and location of the system. The installer verifies the boundaries of the lot and begins to clear it, cutting the trees close to the ground and removing the brush. care is taken not to excavate or infill the area in which the bed is to be constructed. On this lot, a rough road had to be constructed to bring material down to the area of the bed. The installer contacts the QP2 and advises that he is installing the system and of the date that he will have the system completed and left open, ready for inspection. The QP2 will give Nova Scotia Environment 3 days' notice of this date. The contour is staked in the proper location and the downslope buffer is scarified before beginning to place the sand. As the sand begins to arrive, the installer checks every other load using the falling head permeability test to verify that the permeability of the sand falls within the acceptable range. Grade stakes are put in to mark the required depth of the sand. Sand is placed on the downslope side of the trench. Once the sand is in place, the installer will begin to dig the distribution trench. The installer digs a level trench the required length, width, depth, and rakes the sides and bottom of the trench to reduce any smearing of the soil created by the machine. When the trench is complete, filter sand is placed in the trench to the required depth, in this example 200 millimeters, and raked level. The bed is now ready to construct the distribution trench. You will see 2 different types of trenches constructed, one system using chambers and one using gravel and pipe. When using infiltrator chambers on the center-fed distribution bed, the center of the bed is determined. Splash plates are installed on 2 end caps. A T is connected to an end cap on each side, which are glued into the T. Chambers are then laid level from the center out to each end of the bed. At each end of the bed, an additional end cap is installed. When installing a gravel and pipe distribution trench, the site is prepared in the same way as when using chambers. The filter sand is placed in the trench and raked level. Approved perforated pipe is laid in the trench to the specified length and glued together, making sure the holes in each length of the pipe are aligned and facing down. If the bed is to be center-fed, the pipe is cut in the center and a T is installed. The pipe is positioned on the filter sand 1/3 the width of the trench, from the back of the trench. An end cap is installed on each end of the pipe. Beginning at one end, the pipe is supported as clean crushed rock is added below the pipe to a depth of 125 millimeters. The pipe is sloped up towards the center T at a rate of 50 to 100 millimeters in 30 meters. The process is repeated on the other half of the bed, sloping the pipe down from the center T to the end of the pipe. Crushed rock is added to a depth of 75 millimeters above the pipe, the full length of the trench. The crushed rock is covered with filter cloth to keep findings from entering the rock. An interceptor trench is installed to redirect runoff water around the bed. An approved septic tank sized according to the approval will now be installed, allowing for a minimum of 2% slope on the pipe from the house to the tank and a minimum of 1% slope on the pipe from the tank to the bed. Minimum separation distances from the septic tank must be kept in mind, including 1.5 meters from the foundation drain. The hole for the septic tank is dug to the required depth, and the bottom of the hole is raked level. The bottom half of the tank is positioned in the hole and checked for level. The seam is wiped clean. Gasket material is applied. And the top of the tank is put in place. This tank has a stamp on the top to show that this is an approved tank. The tank is connected to the house with a 4-inch pipe. And the pipe is supported. A baffle or T is placed in the tank on the end of the inlet pipe. The tank is then connected to the bed using 4-inch pipe, with a baffle or T installed at the outlet of the tank. Sealant is applied around the pipe where it enters and exits the tank. The system is complete and left open, ready for inspection. The qualified person arrives for inspection. The QP ties in the location of the septic tank and disposal field to 2 fixed points. The separation distance is measured from the bed to the interceptor trench. Separation distances from the bed and the septic tank to the nearest lot boundary and downslope boundary are recorded. Other applicable separation distances required by the regulations are checked and recorded. The depth of the filter sand in the trench and the depth of the sand in the downslope buffer at 5 meters from the trench are verified at several points. The length and the width of the trench are verified. The chambers are checked for level. The number of chambers, end caps, and splash plates are recorded. For a gravel and pipe distribution trench, the length and slope of the pipe would be verified, as well as the depth of the crushed rock above and below the pipe. The QP2 checks the permeability of the sand. The QP advises the installer that the system has been installed correctly, and when the 3-day notice has passed, the system may be covered. The lids on the septic tank are fastened down. The sand is pulled back over the trench. Topsoil and seed, or sod, are applied to the bed. Hay or straw may be applied to the bed to help minimize erosion. When the system is complete, including seed or sod, the installer must complete the completion of work form and provide a copy to the qualified person. After a final inspection, the qualified person will complete the Certificate of Installation form and send copies to the approval holder, Nova Scotia Environment, the installer, and the building inspector. The septic system is now ready for the homeowner to use. To make the system last as long as possible, the homeowner should take proper care of the system, including having the septic tank pumped every 3 to 5 years. More information on properly using an on-site sewage system can be found in the booklet, A Homeowner's Guide to Septic Systems.